Millions of Volkswagen's manipulated diesels are on Germany's roads alone, belching out more pollution than officially reported and more than allowed. The scandal has rocked the industry. We pay a visit to the ADAC. It is Germany's biggest automobile club, with over 19 million members. Inspectors here are often commissioned by car makers when they want new models certified, but the testers fail to detect VW's rigged emissions data because they only do their checks in the lab, not on the road. This inspection station doesn't even have mobile equipment, but now it's on order.
Unfortunately, it's really not easy to detect, let alone verify this kind of software in the testing facility, though you might have a hunch. Even in the United States, where car makers have to disclose the contents of the engine control system software, it's still not that easy to pick up on an embedded or hidden test recognition function.
In a recent study, the ADAC subjected 32 diesel cars to a more rigorous test, due to come into force in the European Union in 2017. 22 of the models failed. But all the cars passed the current standard test.
The current test is the new European driving cycle, a fairly simple, fairly undemanding test that always lets these cars produce the best possible fuel consumption data. So when buyers are looking at these ratings, they should be aware that they don't apply to actual practice. They're only good for comparing different models when you're out shopping for a new car.
The diesel's biggest problem used to be soot particles, but the car makers got it under control. Today, big German cities like Berlin struggle with fine particulates in the air. Part of the reason is the emission of nitrogen oxides from diesel engines. Is the idea of clean diesel an illusion? Environmental expert Axel Friedrich says yes. High levels of diesel fuel emissions are associated with lung cancer. He has little doubt that many were aware of the rigged figures.
They didn't want to see it. Government and the automotive industry are often interconnected. People change from one side to the other. That raises the question of who influences whom. Jobs, export revenues, and many other factors play a role, and some people aren't the least bit concerned about emissions.
The International Council on Clean Transportation is financed by several American foundations. Axel Friedrich co-founded it. He's calling for greater state scrutiny.
I think it's good that the discussion is finally underway. It's not about individuals or corporations. To see it as the case of Volkswagen and Martin Winterkorn would be a misguided perspective. Diesel cars and inadequate monitoring by the authorities is the real scandal, not the car makers' cheat. I take that for granted.
The tests used by German authorities are far removed from the realities of the road. Axel Knöfel says that must change, or the temptation to cheat will be too hard for car makers to resist.
I think diesel technology definitely got a black eye. I hope the car makers don't fail to use clean air pollution control systems and use them wisely, or diesel is in danger of becoming a niche market.
The new diesel model by Jaguar is done. Next up is Ford. Axel Knöfel will most likely pass them both, even though he knows how little the results actually mean in reality.